Hi guys, welcome back to another video in this channel. Today we're going to continue with the sci-fi helmet, and for those of you that are not up to date, we've just released several of our courses in Skillshare. It usually takes a little bit longer to process in Skillshare, that's why they don't usually release at the same time, but most of them, if not all of the courses that we've released in the last couple weeks are now in Skillshare. And as you guys know, we do have a very cool promotion. Take a look at this. Hey guys, Abraham here. I just wanted to remind you guys that we upload all of our courses to Skillshare. Skillshare is this amazing site where you can access a ton of different content to learn, improve, and grow as an artist. We have all of our courses available to watch and learn from right now in Skillshare. You can check the description down here, and Skillshare is offering 1 free month trial to their premium membership. With this membership, you're going to be able to access all of our courses and watch and learn all of the amazing things that we cover with all of the softwares. So, what are you waiting for? Check Skillshare down here below. There we go. So yeah, today we're going to continue with the helmet. This is one of the pieces that I've been wanting to work on for the last couple of days. But as you guys know, the things over here are just crazy. Let me see if I have it. Now I just closed the project, but I was working on a VR project for a company here in a local industry. And it's really cool. It's really cool. It's one of those things that you don't imagine you're going to be doing a lot, and then suddenly there's a lot of work regarding that. So as you can see, we have several clean pieces, like the front ones in particular, and I want to focus on the other pieces using some other tools. And in this case, we're actually going to jump into Maya. I'm thinking about doing a Blender one, like how to do some of these pieces instead of Blender, because Blender has a really cool add-on for Retopology. Let me know in the comments if that's something you guys would like to know. I think that add-on is actually a little bit better, well, not only quite a bit better than the one in Maya, so it might be beneficial for everyone. So this is the piece that we have right here, and as you can see, we have like all of the segments. Like let's say this guy right here, this guy, this guy, this guy, just like weird shapes that we sketched on the character, but that are not really doing anything, right? So I'm gonna clone this thing. As you can see, it's not right like that heavy in points. I'm just gonna export it as it is. Let's call this helmet. Hi. And I recommend exporting in FBXs. OBJ files have this very nasty problem where sometimes all of the vertices of an object will get split into its own little mesh. So each triangle that you have in your mesh will be its own like separate island. So instead of having like 88,000 polygons or points, we're gonna have like 88,000 like geometries, and that really freaks out Maya. So you definitely want to export in FBX. It's been really hot over here. Is it hot where you guys are? I know with this like climate change and stuff, it's been crazy this last couple of years. I do have like a couple of like super strong lights of course over here, but it's just one of those things that, man, it's like really, it's well, not really late, but it's quite late at night, and still really hot. So yeah, let's just wait for Maya to do its thing, load, and that's it. By the way, guys, I am working on the newest course that I'm going to be releasing in the next couple of weeks. It's going to be releasing, I believe, in 2 more weeks, roughly. So stay tuned, because as soon as I get more important results, I'm going to show you some sneak peeks of the course. So I'm going to say File, Import, and let's navigate to our projects. It's next to live. See how many things we've done? Can you guys believe it? 1 year. It's been 1 whole year. Let's import this. There we go. So first thing that you need to remember, do not move this object from where it is, because if you do anything here, if you model anything and it's not in the exact same place, when you bring it into Zbrush, it's not going to be in the exact same place, and therefore it's not going to match. Now I'm going to show you a trick. This is a trick that I use quite a bit, that's going to make things a lot easier, because some of the tools inside of Maya don't work as well with tiny like scales, and as you can see, this is a really tiny helmet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a locator right here. Could be a group, can be a locator, can be anything. I like locators. And I'm going to parent my sphere to the locator with middle mouse and drag. Let me turn on the Cardinal shortcuts. There we go. So middle mouse and drag into the locator. Now what we can do is we can like make this thing like really big and even move it on top of the grid so that we can work a little bit better. And at the end, when we're done and we're like, hey, you know what, like I don't want to have this anymore, I want to have the old scale, the only thing you need to do is say Shift P. And when you Shift P, as you can see, the transformations that the helmet had when it was inside of that locator are now applied to its transformations right here. So I just need to zero this out and set this to 1, and it's going to be back at the origin where it was. So it's a really handy tool. I use this all the time. Nowadays, there's like other tools and add-ons to do this, but when I was doing like armor a couple of years ago, I would normally like model the armor in such a way that it was symmetrical. and then use this trick with locators to place them in different places, and then bake them separately, and then replace them whenever I need it. So these locators are really, really handy because they allow you to save that information. So the way we're going to do this is we're actually going to be using, of course, our Quadro tool, but I want to show you a couple of things and like tricks that you might want to like take a look at to make sure that you're getting the best result and you're not working extra. So for instance, let's do this like rectangular piece right here. It's the easiest one. So I'm going to click this little live surface option right here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my Quadro here. And the best advice I can give anyone doing retopology, start simple. Do not make things complicated. If you try to do like super small squares and stuff, you're gonna have a super horrible time. Now, this is it. Like that's literally all you need. But let's say we want to add a little bit of curvature here, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say 1 and 2 and just like push this thing here. Again, work with simple shapes. Don't try to do a lot of like really complex shapes at the beginning, because it's just going to be way more difficult than it might be otherwise. I'm going to do 2 lines here just to keep things a little bit symmetrical. I'm using the control key to do this. I'm not sure why my taskbar is not hiding. It should be set to hide. That's weird. Sorry, I normally hide the taskbar, but again, I'm not sure why it's not hiding. So anyway, now that we have the shape, we're gonna get rid of this, and there's a couple of things you can do. As you can see, one of the problems with this shape is that it has a little bit of curvature. Now, this might be something that you want, and I know that when I press number 3, the curvature is pretty much gonna be gone. But if you don't like this curvature, what you are gonna have to do is you're gonna have to grab all of the vertices, scale them down in a single plane like this, and then reposition this the best possible way to the original like orientation of your object, like this. Okay, that's the way to go. And yes, it's a little bit tedious. Yes, it's not as precise or whatever, but it's just a way to do it. Now I am gonna extrude this thing. So Control E. Let's push this back. That's why it's important to like properly place it. As you can see, I did not freeze transformations because otherwise the extrusion might have given me a different result. I do like to add a little bit of offset going out so that we get this sort of like a dip right there. And of course, as you can see, this is when the normals are flipped. So when you extrude something or you offset something and the faces are facing inside instead of outside, you're going to see that they're gray normally. You're going to get this sort of like a black result. So I'm just going to say mesh tools, or sorry, mesh display, reverse. And there we go. We have this very nice effect. Now I'm just going to select all of these borders and let's do a little bit of like traditional poly modeling. So, whoa, careful there. I double click here. As you can see, I'm double clicking here and it's not grabbing it. So that means that I might have some extra vertices or I made a mistake. That's really weird. It's really weird. I'm not sure why it's not selecting everything. It should like continue the edge loop. Do I have like a... You know what? My Maya has been acting really weird lately. I had this issue with the UVs a couple of, what's the word? A couple of days ago. I think that might be it. So even though I am doing it properly, whatever. There we go. So just fractioning this, give it a little bit of segment here. And that's pretty much it. Press number 3 to see how this looks. It's looking good, but definitely we want sharper edges. So let's start adding some support edges here on the corners like this. And there we go. That's going to give us a super clean, hard surfacey thing. Now, here's where you can start adding more stuff if you want to. A lot of the decals and stuff that you see, most of them can be done in textures and with displacement or roman maps or bond mapping. You can get away with it and it won't really like make it any different. But every now and then, it's kind of fun to add this sort of like, again, like extrusions and stuff. So for instance, let's grab this pieces right here, all of these guys, not this one. I'm going to press Control E to extrude. I'm going to offset this a little bit. And then I'm going to extrude again and just push this in like this. So as you can see, that's going to create a really nice, interesting cut there. Of course, we're going to need to add some support edges, which is one of the other reasons why it was very important to keep everything flat. So when we add this edges, as you can see, they're not going to really affect anything on the side. They're affecting a little bit of the curvature here. And if you guys have seen my my hard surface modeling course, you know that there's a tool that we use. It's called Slide Edge tool. So I can grab this guys right here, Mesh Tools, Slide Edge tool, and we can slide this along the normal like this. As you can see, it follows very nicely the main shape of the element, and that way we are helping things remain smooth, as you can see right there. They remain smooth while having all of the elements that we need down here. So yeah, that would be like the first piece right there. Now again, you might see that it doesn't like perfectly fit. That's fine. Just scale this up a little bit, push it around, rotate it slightly if you need to. Like, as long as this looks nice, which I think it really does right there, we're in a good position. Let's jump with one of the other ones here. So I'm gonna again grab this guy, make it live. And as you can see, this is a little bit different because we have this flat surface here, and then we have this thing like going down. So I'm gonna show you how to do this properly. I am gonna actually turn on my symmetry for world X right now, so that when we do a element here, well, let's try object X. It's really weird. There we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. 4. Always look for the hard edges, and always keep it simple. There's this phrase, a lot of my teachers used to say this. It's KISS, KISS. I've mentioned this before. It's keep it simple, stupid. Like, don't try to overdo or overcomplicate things, because the geometry is going to complicate itself quite a bit once we start doing all of the other things. So don't make it difficult for you at the beginning. So let's do one there, and one there. As you can see, I'm not creating edge loops. This might be a question that some of you have. I'm not creating edge loops because I want to keep a sharp edge. This is again another of those things. This is more about like hard surface, but you really need. I would really suggest, if you're learning Maya and you're learning to model, get the hard surface modeling course. I know I'm doing a lot of promotion right now, but I really think I explain things really nicely there, and all of the exercises are really cool. When you have a corner, if your corner does this sort of like twist, like this, what's going to happen is when you smooth this out, thanks to the Catmull-Clark subdivision approximation, what you're going to get is this sort of like round effect. However, if your corner is completely straight like this, the Catmull-Clark subdivision approximation won't work, and you'll get like a, well, it will work, really, you'll get like a really sharp edge. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm keeping things very sharp so that we don't have to worry about anything else. Like, I really like this sort of like little curvature that we have here. Looks interesting. So there we go. And again, the trick for this ones is just extrude this thing. But here's the kicker. We're not going to push this thing right here, because as you can see, when I do that, what's going to happen is we create this ramp going inwards. And that's not exactly what we want. So I'm actually going to press a W to go into movement mode. And I'm just going to push it down. And then with scale, I'm going to scale it up a little bit. Like this. And then I'm going to grab this front edges. And I'm going to push them forward a little bit, and then I'm gonna grab the back edges and I'm gonna push them back, and then we can grab like I think the side edges are fine, but if you wanted to, you could just like move them to the other side as well. So mesh display, again, reverse, I was gonna say that in Spanish, voltear normales. That's not how Spanish sounds, that's exaggerated Spanish. Reverse normals, there we go. Now again, if I press number 3, as you can see, yes, we're gonna get something like nice, but it's not exactly what we want. Here's where I would like some like really hard edges. So I'm gonna add one hard edge right there and one hard edge right there. As you can see, we still have the object X turned on, and that's important because when we do like one hard edge right here, it's gonna do it on the other side. And look at that, that's looking way better. Let's do one there and one there to get that really sharp edge. And all of these corners right here, I definitely want to add. A big question that a lot of people have whenever we're working with like subdivision and hard surfaces: do we really need to add that many like hard edges to create shapes? Yes, you do. Believe me. In the project that I showed you last video or a couple of videos ago, in the project that I worked, I was able to see some assets from Blizzard, like some high quality assets from like their cinematics department, and they were not scared of using like a really high amount of what's the word? Of poly count. So yeah, poly count for hard surface stuff, it's perfectly fine. Besides, remember, this one, or this thing that we're doing right now, this is supposed to be the high poly. Okay, we're gonna be doing the high poly for this one, and there we go. Now let's mirror this to the other side. So I'm just gonna do a mirror real quick, and now whoa. Okay, that's a problem. Oh, don't tell me that oh my god, really? Did I really mess that up? There we go. So this one, let's zero this out. There we go. And then this one, let's also zero this out. There we go. Let's just freeze everyone's transformation. Whoop. Well, not this guy, but this guy's. So these two guys, freeze transformations. There we go. So again, let's select these two guys. Let's isolate them. I'm gonna grab this one and just mirror. There we go. Where's the other one? Oh, dude, no. You're not supposed to be there. X to snap this, and there we go. So why am I like making sure everything is centered? Because I want to make sure that when these two pieces connect with each other, they connect in a nice way. So I'm gonna go to the right view, and we don't want, like, pretty much what I want to avoid is this gap right here. So I'm just gonna start grabbing vertices, as you can see right here. And again, don't be scared. Just like literally push the vertices to where they're supposed to be, and you're gonna be completely fine. Here, for instance, I'm gonna do a little bit of exaggeration. That's gonna, of course, change the shape slightly of the thing, but the important thing is that we want things to match in the best possible way. So, for instance, this one's right here. We can actually like rotate them a little bit, and there we go. Oh. Let's go to the right view. And some of you might be, but hey, you're now breaking the symmetry. They're not symmetrical anymore. I know. But again, you shouldn't be afraid. One of the best things, or one of the best advices that I can give you guys, especially if you have watched the 16 minutes of this video, is don't be afraid to break things. Because it's very, very easy to fix. With just a simple mirror, as I just did there, this thing is now fixed. And there we go. Like, we're totally good to go, and this piece is looking super, super clean and super, super nice. So yeah, don't be afraid to break things. It's very easy to fix them. So let's bring this guy back. Let's do quadro, and now we have this shape right here. Now this shape, as you can see, it actually has a little bit of a weird geometry, and this is one of those pieces that I would probably like retopo normally, just to make sure that I capture the shape that I wanted to have inside of Zbrush. So from what I can tell here, I want to go with this sort of like flat, sort of like a light surfacey thingy. So I'm gonna have two vertices here and here, and then this thing is gonna have to have its thickness. So I'm gonna start like modeling a little bit of the thickness right there. It's gonna go all the way around like this. Now that we have this, now we need to again go back to our kind of like traditional poly modeling techniques. Let me actually turn off the symmetry. I'm gonna delete one side and just work on one. Why? Because it's just easier. Grab this edge, for instance, and let's just flatten this out. Let's turn this off. So we flatten this out. Same, if we want these things to be here, one thing we can do is we can go to the scale options. Right now they're aligned to the object. We can align this to the normals, and then we just flatten them out on the normal direction. That might be a trick that you didn't know about, but we can flatten them in the like average normal of those two faces. So now they're flat in regards to their own like world. And we need to create the thickness here. One of the easiest ways to create thickness, just grab an edge, Control E, move it in like this, and that way we just grab this guy and this guy, we bridge, and technically we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we bridge, there we go. Have an extra face right here. What do? There's a lot of options always. I think adding one edge is usually, or it's probably like the easiest option. I'm trying to think how to fix this, because this is not really like an important part of the geometry. So I think this is one of like the flat parts on the back. So let's grab this face, Control E, push it back. These two vertices we're gonna merge together, and now I do want this guy and this guy to be a face like that. As you can see, we get this triangle. People are really like scared of triangles. They feel like they're like the devil or something. They're not that bad. We just need to make sure that we like know how to handle them. So in this case, if we add one triangle right here, you can see how it creates like a decent looking element. Oh, there you go. So yeah, as you can see, we're missing one line right here because we need to grab these two vertices and merge them. So that line that I just created, that should be more than enough to help us bridge everything back here. There we go. That's why I mean everything made sense. So yeah, like this guy and this guy, I mean we can just like grab this point and either snap it, or These are like two triangles, or like I mean, this is pretty much like a square. So just like move this vertex a little bit. Since this is gonna be on the inside, I'm really not that worried. Just grab this guy and bridge. And there we go. So we have this very nice looking shape. And again, now it's time to start adding some support edges, right? So we're gonna have one support edge right there. We're gonna have one support edge right there. One support edge right there. One right there. That's the one there. There we go. We are getting an ngon right here. Again, since this is a high poly, I'm not really that worried. So I know that that looks a little bit like wrong or bad. Not much to worry about. Again, we can just deal with this and fix it in Zbrush. The only thing we want to have this sort of like clean looking, nice, hard surfacey shape, which is what we want here. A very quick trick, by the way, this is super dirty. Don't do this on a production level thing. But again, for this, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to say mesh and smooth. And smooth automatically fixes ngons. So now, yes, it's going to have like a really weird pinch over there. But as you can see, this is a cool looking shape. So let's grab all of the shapes again. And let's go to our right view. And as you can see, things are matching quite nicely. Like this border that we have right there, that looks quite nice. This one right here is getting a little bit tricky. So again, let's just play around with some of these vertices. Don't be afraid to just like move some of these things around. Like this. Overlaps are okay because we're gonna have a little bit of like rust and grime and stuff on the texturing side of things later on. So as long as we create and kind of like connect everything, that's gonna make our lives so much easier. So let's mirror this thing, of course, and same for this one. Let's just mirror again, just to make sure that they match perfectly. And look at that, we're creating this very cool effect. It seems like, okay, we have that hole right there. So that's a hole that we really don't want to have. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab these faces right here, and I'm literally just gonna push them like up like this, so that when we smooth this, as you can see, we kind of close the gap. Again, we really don't want to see to the other side because that information could get baked down, because we're going to be doing a full retopology of the helmet later on, and all that information could get baked down onto the map. And right now, having no negative spaces is better for us. Also, if we wanted to 3D print, those negative spaces can get quite tricky. Cool. Let's keep on moving. I know we're running a little bit like longer than usual, so hopefully you guys are enjoying the content. Let me know in the comments, of course. We have these two projects active. We have this one and we have the lighthouse. I'm going to be trying to alternate between both of them to show you a little bit of environment, a little bit of character, or in this case, like sci-fi stuff. But if there's any other things you guys want me to talk about, let me know. I've been doing a lot of crazy stuff lately, so there's a lot of things to share. There we go. Control E. Let's push this in. Oh, let me go back here. And oh no, we're actually. There we go. Actually, again, I'm gonna scale this up a little bit so we get a little bit of an offset. We could also done that with the extrusion. Manage display, reverse. This one I am gonna bevel. We've been using this sort of like bevel motif for several things on the helmet, so I think it would benefit from having it. Oh, let's go there, and down here, and look at that, clean looking, nice bevel shape. Again, a couple of edge loops there to hold the bevel nicely, and there we go. I know that I'm doing this a little bit fast. If you're following along or you want to follow along, don't get impatient. Make sure to take your time and make sure that things flow and look in the best possible way that you can. Of course, the more you practice and the more you do this, the better and the faster you're gonna get. So I've been doing this for this year. It was about June, like late June, when I started my 3D career on 2011. So it's been 11 years now. 11 years since I started my 3D journey. Look at that. Quite nice shapes, right? Let's mirror this one. There we go. A cool way in which you can evaluate this is turning this thing on, which is the anti-aliasing and the ambient occlusion, which is gonna give you this extra like little sharp edges. And yeah, I mean, all of the shapes look really nice. There was a game I worked on several years ago called what was it called? I'm trying to remember. It was on Steam. Free. It was. I was gonna say Free Fire, but it was not Free Fire. Shooter, roguelite, sci-fi. It was a shooter, roguelite, sci-fi thingy. It didn't like. It wasn't that good. it didn't made a whole lot of. Let me see if I. Oh, I think because I did an upgrade on my computer a couple of weeks ago, and I think I left it on the other drive. So yeah, oh, and install. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna be able to show it to you. I'm trying to remember. What was the name of it? Oh, Gone. It was something Gone. It was something Gone. If I remember, I'll show you guys. But there was a character where I used this technique quite a bit. Like I did a sketch on Zbrush, and then I bring this thing in here and created the whole thing. Let's finally do this like big patches. These are going to be important because they're quite big, and I do want to keep, for instance, this is what I was mentioning about the edge loops. I do want to have like a round edge loop here on the top, but not on the bottom. So I want to have like a hard edge right here. Definitely need a couple of more edge loops right there. And now we just need to start bridging things. The best way I can let you guys know about these things, whenever you're doing retopology, try to keep things following the same sort of like web. You don't want things to go crazy to one side and then crazy to another side. You want everything to be as uniform as possible. The relax function is really helpful for that, as you can see right there. And there we go. Let's just push this thing again. I'm pressing 3 to get an idea of how this thing's gonna look. These are like respirator things, right? So here's where we can actually go a little bit crazy. Let me show you what I mean. For instance, I'm gonna Control E, push this back. Again, here's the offset thing. Let's offset this out a little bit. And again, since I know that these are gonna be respirators, the initial sketch didn't have any like sort of like fancy stuff on it, right? It was just like a block. But here we can actually do fancy stuff. So why not, for instance, add like a cut here, like a big cut, and then grab these faces and extrude them in. A little bit of offset and a little bit of thickness right here. And that's gonna give us a really interesting look. Same for this, like see how we have this sort of like U-shaped thingy? I mean, we could use it. Why not have like two main bends here? And you usually want to do this sort of thing before the bevels and stuff, because otherwise it becomes really difficult. So yeah, like this sort of stuff. And as you can see, that looks interesting, because when we press number 3, everything is going to be smoothed out. Now, of course, again, here's where we need to go back to the bevels and stuff to make things better. I usually like doing bevels first and then the edge loops, because unfortunately the edge loops tend to break the topology quite a bit. So you probably want to do bevels first. So let's do like a nice bevel right there. And now we can start adding our support edges. So let's do one there. It's gonna keep it square. I think that's good enough. Now let's do one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there, one there. A lot of edge loops. I know. It's part of the trick. Let's do one there and one there. I do want to keep them a little bit squarish, so let's do something like that. And that's it. Those would be like the respirators thingies. So let's get these things here. Let's go to the right view. That's a nice like insertion point, I would say. Maybe just a little bit more right there. One thing that we definitely need to do, the base of the respirators right here, let's add 2 support edges so that it's really sharp. There we go. Mirror, and look at that. Because this is the place where we're gonna have like the other stuff, right? So yeah, this is pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna stop the video right here. I think we've covered like enough of this stuff, and I'm probably gonna do a little bit of work. I know I usually like show the whole process, but I'm just gonna do the same thing with these 2 guys over here. Or let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you guys want me to do the other. Like, we're probably gonna have one more. Oh yeah, we mentioned, right? Like, we might try the Blender approach, like the Blender Retopology approach. So yeah, we're probably gonna do like this back part for using Blender tools, and then we just need this piece, and yeah, we're in a good position. So that's it for now, guys. Thank you very much, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.